What is up, everybody? It is Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show. As always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Also know that I'm a certified empowerment coach and president and CEO of Express Your Vibe Coaching and Communications. And this is the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. And lately, we've been bringing on new friends onto the Dr. Vibe show, but we're taking a little U-turn tonight. We're going back to some of the old school. Some of the old school is back with us, and I don't mean that in age, but in experience on the Dr. Vibe show. And friend-wise, we have Rodney Kellum on the line. He has discovered the power of speaking life into existence, in addition to accompanying some major milestones such as playing Division I basketball, being internationally recognized by CNN for the book he co-authored titled What Your Name Is, and that's I-Z in America, Z in Canada, What Not to Name Your Child, and launching Speak Life Inspirational Speaking. He's learned the extremely valuable lesson that this is his most important work, and it's done as a husband and father. His life changed when he was forced to choose between his then dream job and his then very young first child, Randall, who was sort of not behaving properly before we came on live, but Rodney's got the situation under control. Once he chose Randall over what he thought of his dream job, his paradigm shifted, and fatherhood became an inspiration for him doing everything that he does now. When you hear him speak, you'll learn the tools to go from motivation to inspiration, as well as the absolute power you have to create the life that you want, beginning carefully, choosing, and speaking life-changing words. He's based out of Atlanta, and is available for you to have him at any one of your events, whether it's in Atlanta or outside Atlanta. So over the next few weeks, he's going to be here with the Speak Life series, and he'll be having conversations varying from fatherhood, faith, manhood, and rejecting mediocrity and accepting greatness. So welcome back. And we used to hear him on Sunday nights. Now we're seeing him on Sunday nights. Rodney Kellum. What is up, Rodney?
Hello, Dr. Vibe, and thank you so much for allowing me to have this platform with you. It's good to be back in your presence and getting to speak to your audience, getting to speak life into your audience. And I thank you for that intro and allowing me to do this series with you, because I believe it's important. I truly believe that your audience is going to get value from it. And, from being a former workaholic, my experience with workaholism, having a fire in our home, which led to temporary homelessness, having to literally choose between my son over what I thought was my dream job. It all propelled me to be a better husband, father, and entrepreneur that you see today. And so tonight we're going to begin a three-part series of the Fatherhood series, and we're going to talk about tonight's topic, which is she's pregnant, now what? I'll be covering some of the most common things that men think when we find out we have a child on the way, and how to handle the internal challenges that we as men face. Also, next Sunday, next Dr. Vibe, same Dr. Vibe time, same Dr. Vibe channel, I'll be talking about, hey daddy, what's next? Once your child is born, what's the next steps? I'll provide some insight on those things. And to conclude the Fatherhood series, I'll be talking about fatherpreneurship, making fatherhood your business. So you don't want to miss any of these episodes. You don't want to miss any of the conversations. They're always epic, as Dr. Vibe puts it. And just make sure you tune in, mark it on Twitter, make sure you share on social media, because I want as many men and parents to tune into this so you may get some value. I'm going to talk about things that maybe men don't like to talk about, but we definitely go through. So one of the first things you think of when you hear those words, I'm pregnant. It might be in slow motion. I'm pregnant. It's positive. How will I provide for my growing family? As a man, that's sort of at the core internally of who we are. We are providers. We're protectors. We're coverers. We're leaders of our homes. And that's just natural. Whatever your faith background or belief background is, I believe you're going to agree with me on that one. And so when I remember the day I was in a parking lot of a grocery store down here in our area called Kroger, and my wife had taken a pregnancy test and called me. And it was really interesting that the way I replayed in my head, and when she told me she was pregnant, is this sort of time sort of stopped. Joy came over me, and then after like that 5 minutes of adrenaline and rush and joy, a sort of sinking feeling set in. It was, how am I going to provide for my growing family? I know I'm going to need diapers. I know I'm going to need wipes. I know I'm going to need clothes. We're going to need a bigger home. Blah, 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 blah. And my mind started going a mile a minute on what do I do? Oh, my God, I'm not good enough. You know, and I can almost guarantee every man at almost every economic level, you think about these things in some form or fashion. And I'm here to tell you that that's normal, that it's a good thing, that you think that way. Because one, it's a sign that you are going to be there for your family. And your family's going to need you. And one thing that really put me at ease was the story of a mother that I was a coworker at the time. She's a mother of 3. She's a former Marine, or once a Marine, always a Marine. But she had become pregnant while during her time of service. And she had a superior officer who told her, who had like 5 kids, never worry about the money. It'll always come. And it's sort of a shifting in the way that you think. Usually it's the other way around for most men. You're thinking logically, make the money, then kids come. And sometimes it doesn't work out that way. There's plenty of young fathers out there. I hope you're listening. There's fathers who may have children later in life, and still maybe you don't have all your ducks in a row. But I'm here to tell you through experience, it sometimes takes that catalyst of becoming a father for you to begin to think differently and operate in a way that no can't be an answer, because someone's depending on you that isn't you, that isn't your chosen partner. You have somebody that's completely dependent on you to feed them and clothe them and love them and care for them and hold them and be there for them. And so it's a lot, but I'm here to tell you that you can handle it. Before you have a child, you may have moments of great motivation. And motivation are things that may come and go, may ebb and flow, may get you filled up, and then you may feel empty. But I'm here to tell you, when you have a child, when that little baby comes out and you get to look them in the face, you become a different person. I truly believe that being a parent allows you to experience God's love in its most purest form. I don't think we can love something more conditionally other than being a parent. So, baby comes along, I'm here to just encourage you. Yes, continue to think logically. Yes, put a plan down, write it down. Either start a business or, further your career, get a career. Do what you have to do, but keep it all in perspective, that your job is to be there for your child. The second major point I want to touch on, and as men, because we can't have the babies, we can't hold the babies or grow them inside of us and birth them, the question you may ask is, what is my part in this process, and how do I help? There might be times where you really feel helpless. So I'm here to tell you, 1, listen to mommy. Whether you're with the mother in a relationship or romantically or not, you are now in a lifelong partnership until death do you part, because you're always going to be that child's father. So you got to support the mommy. Supporting mommy is the best and most consistent thing you can do and should offer. The fact that mommy will be doing all the hard work, because let's be honest, they are, being empathetic, being supportive all the long way. When my wife was, giving birth to our first son, she was doing wonderful. And some things you'll learn later, I'll come back maybe in another episode about what happened. But she was sort of forced to have a C-section. And the moment that she sort of accepted that she had a C-section and broke her concentration and pain came over her body, she was doing fine before that, by the way, it was the most helpless I've ever felt in my entire life. She's being wheeled in that gurney into the operating room. Because she hadn't had the epidural, I know I could not be present anymore. I couldn't see my son being birthed for whatever rules they have, whatever their reasoning. And so it was all on her and in God's hands. And I prayed, and I just remember that sinking feeling of, God, I can do nothing about this right now. So yes, men, it's okay. It may happen to you, that helpless, hopeless feeling. That's why support, emotional, physical support. You may have to hold and hug your partner, your spouse, your woman. Support them in every way that they need. They're going to verbalize it, whether it be nice or not so nice, because hormones are crazy. Just accept it. Those hormones are helping the baby grow. It's okay. And just being there. Being there is one of your superpowers during this time. So she got wheeled into that operating room. I had to leave it in God's hands, because I'm not a surgeon. I'm not a doctor. And most of you watching will not be doctors either, or you won't be handling the birth of your child personally. I'm sure there's a conflict of interest, whatever. So your support is paramount. Support them in every way from beginning to finish and until your own natural death, because you love that baby, and I hope you have at least admiration for the child of your mother, because what she's going through to grow your family, it deserves your respect, it deserves your patience, and it deserves your support. And I'm also going to talk about not just being, how do you help in this process? Should you be present during the birth? Quick answer, yes. Some things you can't redo, and that's going to leave an imprint on the mother of your child. It's going to leave an imprint on your child, because in those first few moments, in those first few days, contact with you and everyone that loves them puts them at ease. There's been studies that show links to when children don't get love from their parents early in life, especially in those first few hours, first few days, it affects their behavior down the road, whether it be anxiety, depression, bad behaviors, which we call bad behaviors, acting out in school, having an inability to have good relationships. It all stems from the very beginning. And when that baby comes out, most doctors now, they want to give you skin-to-skin contact. You can't have that if you miss out, if you're not present. So the answer to should you be present at the birth? Yes. If you can be in the room and see mommy give birth, yes. I want you to get over the ickiness, because it's absolutely beautiful. It allows you to look at women, especially the woman that you're having this child with, in a completely different light. How God has created them to give birth is amazing. You won't objectify them as much as you used to, if that's something that you used to do. I got my 1-year-old walking around here right now. I know you got a good audience going on in the back. Yeah, he wants to come here live, right, as he messes up some papers. And be patient as a dad. We'll go crazy. So being present during the childbirth, if you can take Lamon's class, take that too. Helping coach your woman, helping her breathe, getting her ice chips. It means the world. And let me just tell you, if you're not there, you're going to regret it. You're going to regret it. Hey, Braylon, come to Papa. He's drumming. No problem. You're going to regret that moment that you can never get back.
Rodney, let me just ask, how much mentorship, guidance of this type did you have, if at all, before you became a brand new dad?
That's the thing. When my wife told me she was pregnant, and I went to the Googles, adding an S on there, just looking for support, because I didn't have anybody else around me that was a new father, or most of the men in my life were 10, 15, 20 years old, and their children were older. And, men in general have an issue with speaking. So I didn't have anybody to really coach me. I had to just go with it one day at a time, one week, one trimester at a time. And I was really disappointed when you search in Google, fatherhood groups or what do I do, enter question, there really was no answers. There really were no support groups. There really were no online resources. I'm thankful now, almost 10 years later, that there are a lot more resources online and out there. There's fatherhood classes in most hospitals before and after birth. That's all now. So you may or may not be in a place, in a city that offers these things. But I'm here to tell you, maybe you're the person who's going to be the catalyst to create a dad's group, a fatherhood network. There's several Facebook groups out there. There's several groups on Google+, wherever social media world that you like to live in and dabble in. But I didn't really have that. My dad lived far from me. He lived in a different state, across the country in Nevada. I live in Georgia. So I didn't really have him right there during the process. And that leads me to another thing. You may feel like I may have said it already, you may feel like you're alone. Even if there were people around, it's very natural to feel alone in the process. Again, because you're not mommy. You don't have the, I would say, almost benefit of having this bond growing inside of you and with the child. You're sort of waiting. You're anticipating, oh, I can't wait for my child to come out. I'm going to do these things with them, and my 1-year-old, singing in the background. Mm-hmm. You're sort of having to have a different experience along with mommy. So whatever you feel, whatever you think, it's natural. Someone else has been through it. Someone else has thunk it. Someone else has said it, and someone else has cried out for help. And there is help out there. Again, if you can't find it online, like the City Dads groups, they have meetups, meetup groups. There are all kinds of meetup groups. Check with the hospital that you're going to be giving birth at if you're going to give birth at a hospital. If you're not, check with your midwife if you're going to do a home birth like we did with our second 2 kids. Find it. If there's something in you saying that you need support, go get it. Yeah. Go and get it.
Well, yeah, I just want to interject because I don't know if Rodney's aware of this or not, but Rodney's based in Atlanta in the United States. I'm based in Toronto in Canada, and I actually am a program coordinator of the only father-based family center in all of Canada. So I back what he is saying that, gentlemen, there are resources out there. Still, they're not what they should be, but they're a lot better than what they used to be. Mm-hmm. So definitely reach out, whether it's hospitals, online. There are a lot of support groups out there in regards for fatherhood, but there's still challenges and there's still stigmas out there that a lot of men have when it comes to first child. Let me ask Rodney, this message, is it different in any way for a 16-year-old father compared to a first-time father that's 35, 40 years old? Because I'm mentoring a potential 16-year-old father. Is there any difference in message that you're conveying to us?
I would say amplify everything that I've just said. Because of your youth, there may be some other restrictions. But let me just, before I go too deep into it, let me say it's been done before. You're not alone, and there is support. I've actually interviewed several fathers. One man who's very successful now, who was a teenage father. He became a father at the age of 16. And the things that I talked about earlier, he had implemented them. We had never met before that. But I believe I met him through you, Dr. Vibe. And Sean Flood is his name. He became a father at 16. And he was, he had the support of his mother. He had the support of his makeshift circle. That was including his high school principal, teachers. Those were the most supportive people of Mr. Flood when he became a teenage father. And you are absolutely going to have to lean on some people. More than likely, you haven't gotten on a great financial footing at 16. So you're going to have to, find resources. And we can sort of delve into another lane where there may not be governmental resources as available to males as they are to females. That's a sad truth.
Yep.
That's a whole other story about many other topics.
Yep.
But you must find the things that it's going to take to support your child. I know that may mean shifting how you attain your high school diploma if you haven't already graduated. Perhaps you're going to have to start doing night school, online courses. You may even take it as a benefit to start early college online courses through community college or whatever it may take, so that you may now work and provide for your family. If you don't have family that's supportive, because everybody doesn't have supportive family. Everybody doesn't have a mother and a father that says, yeah, live here until you get on your feet. You know, I would really start looking for resources right now. And I can't call them, you know, what that is in Canada, but I do know around the world, around the globe, in the U.S. for sure, that there are resources if you just keep looking. Keep on searching, keep on Googling. And most importantly, just know that just because you're young and maybe, you know, this wasn't planned, you have everything on the inside of you to do what it takes to be the best father possible. And I got encouragement for that from reading Dr. Monroe's book called The Fatherhood Principle. And one of the major illustrations he laid out was to show the potential of a seed. Most people look at a seed and say it's a seed. But he made clear that a seed is not just one seed, but it's potentially an entire forest. Everything to go into that soil and sprout up and to reproduce a seed and sprout up and make another tree is inside of that seed. And everything inside of you to be a great father, even a husband if that is your desire, and I hope it is already there. Either you had a great example of what to do or great examples of what not to do. It's there. Take it and run with it.
Nice. Very, very nice. What effect do you think it's having on society now where more and more men are becoming first-time fathers later in life?
I would say you could say that's a good thing. And I say that because men, sadly, and it's true, you know, I had to find this out the hard way, mature slower than women. And not necessarily, I mean, usually that's physical too, but when it comes to the mental and emotional things and thought processes it takes to be responsible for and successfully raise a family, it helps to wait. It helps to take your time. And I think the most important factor why people are waiting until, you know, I'm 36. Some people are waiting until 36 and waiting until 40 as men to start families. And I just really think that maybe they when they were younger, they thought ahead. Like, man, you know, I saw my dad have me when he was young. My grandfather had my dad when he was young. And you sort of see the struggle that ensues versus waiting maybe 5, 10 more years when you're 25, 26 years old, maybe even 30, where you're economically in a place more stable, where you're thinking differently. Because when you're, you know, let's just say a teenager, you absolutely think differently than you do as a 30-year-old man, a 25-year-old man. So, you know, I know there's a lot of conversation about women, you know, wanting to start families and where all the good men at. Well, they're taking their time. You know, a lot of them are taking their time, you know, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because you want to build strong families. You want to have solid families on good foundations. You want a man who's at a place that he can come along into your life and add to it and say, whatever we bring into this family, this life, I'm ready for it. You know, the men that aren't engaged in their children's lives, you know, maybe a woman was ready and the man wasn't ready. Maybe she had thoughts in her mind that the man wasn't thinking. So I would encourage people to take your time. Slow down. You know, I know women have that biological clock thing going and it's hard to shut off. But maybe it's time to just listen to some more logic and taking your time so you can have the best quality of life possible.
Very nice. Very nice. Anything else you want to add to our conversation this evening on the kickoff to the Speak Life series?
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, going from having no children to fatherhood is a perfect example of going from motivation to inspiration. Inspiration is that thing that never dies. Once you find that, you know, your baby's born and that love is there, it's never going away. You'll never, ever stop being a father, no matter how old your children get, when they're babies to when they're grown to when they become parents. And it's a joy. It's a joy, and it's a fuel. And if you haven't really been much of a man that hasn't taken much initiative, whatever that dream is that you have, your child should be that inspiration of why when you're working jobs that you hate, that you keep pushing forward. When you have that business idea on the inside of you that makes you take action. When there's those things that you've been wanting to do your whole life that benefit your loved ones, that you take action and do. Allow the birth of your child, the news of a coming child, to put you into action and to say, you know what, I'm inspired. I have a flame that will never go out. I just want to encourage everybody that's tuned in tonight, that's listening to the sound of my voice. I want you to reject mediocrity. And your mediocrity is everything that you've done so far that has not lived up to what the vision is on the inside of you. And move to inspiration. Move from motivation to inspiration and embrace your greatness, your gifts, your talents, all those things that God put on the inside of you to give to the world, to give to others, to sow so others may benefit, including you. Do that from mediocrity to embracing your greatness, from motivation to inspiration. Live life inspired. And thank you so much for listening. Tune in next week. I know Dr. Bob may have some other comments, but you don't want to miss a moment of this. I'm just heating up. This series is going to get better and better each week.
Well, first I want to say thank you, Rodney, from especially your family time to share with us. I'm looking forward to this series. I think I know it's a very important series because fatherhood is. It's interesting because when I share with individuals, male and female, what I do as a passion at with this organization, they go, wow, that's fantastic. And the reaction is actually stronger from women on the whole than men, because women want this. They want to have better fathers. They will share their experiences, whether it's their own or outside of their own experiences, with lack of fatherhood, and many of them are yearning for it. So it's conversations like this that'll get us better, make us better, and because it's my platform, I would say this: the better men are, the better society will be. I don't think too many people will disagree with that. So I just reinforce what Rodney's saying. I encounter men every day, especially first-time fathers or potential first-time fathers, and what Rodney is saying is very, very important and very applicable to make them move forward. So Rodney, can you give us your contact information, please?
Absolutely. You can find me on social media at Fatherpreneur. That's entrepreneur with a father in the front. My website is speaklife.online. We can find out information about me. You can buy, shirts. I got Embrace Your Greatness and another wonderful shirt you want to check out on speaklife.online. And please, if you're interested in booking me to speak at your event, email me at fatherpreneurship@gmail.com. Fatherpreneurship@gmail.com.
Excellent. For Dr. Vibe, if you want to watch replays of my epic conversations on YouTube, you're at the right place already. So you don't have to give any details of that. If you want to listen to audio replays of my epic conversations, you can catch it at thedrvibeshow.com. Also, you can catch them at Stitcher Radio, Tuned In Radio, Google Play Music Store, and iHeartRadio. You can hear partial or selected replays at thegoodmenproject.com and also at wjmsradio.com. Also know I'm a certified empowerment coach, president and CEO of Express Your Vibe Coaching Communications. If you'd like a complimentary empowerment session, please touch base with me. Best ways is Twitter at drvibeshow. Email dr.vibe at thedrvibeshow.com, or you can go to my website and go to the top of the page and it says Contact the Dr. Vibe Show, so you can do it via email, audio message, or video message. Also know that I provide a service called Getting Media Coverage, where I help entrepreneurs and businesses get media promotion so they can elevate their business and or service. And then finally, you can catch me live every Friday morning at 7:25 a.m. Eastern Time on WURD out of Philadelphia, Word Radio out of Philadelphia, the only Black-owned radio station, public radio station in all of Pennsylvania. I'm one of the panelists on a segment called The Week That Was, hosted by Christopher Flood, the drummer Norse, where we look at the stories that made news and the ones that should have made news over the past week. So you can catch me there also. As always, I will leave with now 3 things. First of all, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Also, sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. And finally, block assumptions. On that note, God bless, peace to you all, keep the faith. Check Rodney and I again next week. Same Black Panther time, same Black Panther story. Yes, I'll do it that way. And thanks for watching either live or on the replay. God bless, peace to you all, and keep the faith. Bye-bye.